There we go. Finally.
Turn on do not disturb.
Oh, you know, that's part of the point.
I'm just gonna put airplane mode on. I don't have to talk to anybody. The person I have to talk to is right here. I don't have to talk to anybody. Yeah, I got 15% on this phone. Actually, I didn't charge it, so.
No, let's say
I love this phone. It's my favorite phone.
Needed. Oh, sorry, I forgot you don't have Apple. No.
No, I do, right?
Oh, what the fuck?
This is my personal. Like, this is the mom, close family. That's it. So and there's no social media on this besides X, because I like checking the news.
Yeah,
And Reddit. That's it. There's no Instagram, nothing.
nothing.
Nope.
See, that's,
Am I picking this up or you want me to keep this here?
man, that thing is picking everything up. As long as our angles.
Does it show you levels anywhere? Does it show you levels on top?
Yeah, actually right over here. Yeah, it's picking up everything.
Okay.
Into one. Cool. Maybe get a little closer with the thing bucket. Yeah.
I'm gonna hold it.
What do?
I feel official holding
Do a
it.
little more official holding like this.
Big Tim. Yeah, cheers. Cheers. Like, because they're new. Because they're new. I don't want to fuck them up.
Dude, it's fucking thank you first off for coming on. For first off, everybody, I know this has been a long time since I've done one of these. It's been literally a year since I sat down and actually had a conversation, but I couldn't have had a better guest just because last year, literally a year ago now, we sat down on your podcast and had one of the best conversations ever, kind of sitting down on the mic, but also just a lot of positive clips and a lot of positive feedback I personally got from that conversation. So, and also as an introduction to the new studio slash, I don't know what it is, hangout spot. I
Yeah,
guess.
space. Shouts to Amanda and Apex for number one. Shouts to you for bringing me out here. I appreciate you. Number two, shouts to Amanda for gracing me with the gym to get a little workout. If I look a little glistening wise, it's because we just did a little workout. So I appreciate the hospitality and letting me get a workout in, and then obviously sit with my man Tim over here for another great episode. So I appreciate you for bringing me out.
I appreciate you, and also appreciated you, Amanda, as well, for giving me the opportunity to now record out of here. You know, personally, it was getting a lot when it comes down to just like involving letting people into your private space, and you know, you don't want just outside energy coming in and taking away from your zen. Not saying that anyone that I had as a guest was bad for my apartment or anything like that.
No, I mean you wouldn't invite them on the show if you thought that way, but I could understand that from my perspective because I constantly battled with the thought of just keeping the studio at my house and keeping everything just under one roof, my office, my studio, this and that. And would it be easier to pump content out? For sure. But then you don't have that separation that you'd like probably as well. And, you know, you're constantly working around the clock in that same space, you know, unless I have shoots that I have to go to or workouts or jujitsu. But otherwise you feel like you just don't get a different change of scenery and pace. And then the other thing is like if I've had people come on the show that I've never really met. Like I never really got to converse with them before we sat down.
Oh, I mean, yeah, we never got a chance to really sit down and talk in person.
And it's not to say people are bad because I wouldn't have somebody that I thought was inherently bad come on the show and chop it up with me. But once again, outside energy coming into your home, it's just very different than if you had an external space that you could go to, get to know people, do your thing, and then like, you know, invite them over anytime you want after that.
Yeah. And for me personally, I feel like this spot also is awesome because as a trainer now, it gives me an opportunity to bring someone in for a workout, you know, see what they're about. Also, other trainers, you know, give an opportunity to people who want to train, you know, bodybuilding, or people who have a CrossFit background, or people who have unconventional background, or just traditional lifting in general, whatsoever, with powerlifting as well. This is an opportunity for them to come down over here and talk about what they're doing for a living. Because the other thing too is like, you know, in our industry, especially the training industry, it's always like it's a dogfight. Everybody is trying to make a better name. Everyone's trying to stand out more on social media. Everyone's trying to do the next big trendy thing. The reality is no one's really sticking to their guns and really putting out the stuff that really does mean more for themselves. And I feel like this place gives them the opportunity for people to come in, explain their workouts. Because eventually that's gonna be the next thing I would like to do for this channel is actually record some of the workouts and then sit down and have a conversation and play that afterwards.
I was just about to say you should do like a workout and a cast. That'd be cool.
Yeah, so that's gonna be that's down the road. That's down the road. First thing was just to even get this going back again, because Lord knows it's been. I've tried for the last like two months, but no complaints at all with my schedule being so busy because I prayed for this back when I was, literally dead broke 8 years ago when I first started personal training. I prayed for moments like this, so I had to work with what I got, and now I finally have the opportunity in a day to really sit down and have conversations, but also just have fun on the outside there too as well. That's not normally my training style, and my legs are really definitely, yeah, my legs are.
I mean, it's not my training, but it's not my training style either. I came from bodybuilding world. I came from the bodybuilding world, and that was my world, and I thought I could train like that for the rest of my life. And then it switched up into like experimenting with some landmine stuff with Tom and seeing that side of things, and I really liked it. And actually, even before Tom, I was interested in the kettlebell stuff because I saw during COVID on it was pushing out all those kettlebell programs. Eric Elijah, all these guys, they were just putting out all this content, and it was super intriguing because you could do so many different things with one piece of equipment in a smaller space. That you didn't need a full gym to like what I was accustomed to, which was an entire gym at Bev Francis. Like I need this entire gym to hit everything efficiently, and it's like you don't. I mean, if you want to really isolate certain movements, you can, but if you want to hit everything, I mean, you could just do all that with a barbell, some sandbags, and a kettlebell. And I guess that goes into saying the transformation of our fitness journeys is different for everybody. Some people start this way, then they move into bodybuilding. This girl, Francesca, who I've had on my podcast, she's an IFBB pro, really awesome human being. She started out in the CrossFit world, was working at, I think it was like a GNC or a vitamin shop, was working there. Told some guy said, "Oh, you should do CrossFit because you have the body and you're very athletic for it and this and that." She's just like, "Okay," tried out CrossFit. She fucking killed it. She went to the games early on. Like she's very good athlete. And then in her mid 30s now, mid to late 30s, I believe, she is now an IFBB pro in bodybuilding. And now she's doing all bodybuilding and her physique is insane. So it's like, people wind up at the place that they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be there. I know it's so hard to think in the interim while you're waiting or in that transitionary stage, or you wind up. Everybody winds up going to where they're supposed to go. I mean, that's with work, that's with life, that's with just everything. And I guess just having the patience. It's funny because like I look around in Amanda's space and it's like the Himalayan salt lamb, the madras, like all the different things of just. Honestly, things that are meant to remind you to just slow down and be present and relax. That's what we all forget about because we're always worried about the next destination.
Dude, exactly. Like not for nothing. Also, I've creeped on now the 4-year anniversary of me swinging around clubs, and now it's really starting to pick off with the type of athletes that I'm working with now. Working with Division I college athletes, working with people who are on the minor leagues and the MLB. And I just stuck to the ways where I first started training, which was machines and
very isolated movements.
Yeah, had I stuck to just doing that for not only just myself but for my clientele as well. One, I would have not stayed out the way I stood out in the industry now, at least around here on Long Island. But also, I definitely wouldn't have had developed the kind of relationships I had with around other trainers and coaches here on Long Island too as well. Like we keep bringing his name up, and God knows the amount of times his name has come up on this fucking podcast. But with Tom, he really opened up my eyes to the training style I was doing, but now just in a more intense, heavier version of it. And then had I not, opened my eyes to that opportunity, I wouldn't have been able to really succeed a little bit more in the trainer world because it pushed me into a place where, shit, if I'm doing this to myself and I'm feeling what I'm feeling right now, well, then let me now translate this to my clientele because it shows them like, hey, listen, I'm right there with you. Like, yeah, I'm right next to you suffering. Believe me, I understand exactly what you're feeling right now. I know your legs are wanting to buckle out. They want to quit. I know your hands are ripping. I literally ripped up my freaking calluses doing the club swings yesterday. And when my clientele look at my hands, they're like, oh, wow, so you're actually leading from the front. Yeah, because at the end of the day in this industry too as well, it's very easy to fall in line and to fall into the trap of like putting yourself into a little box and just staying in your one little box. But the more that you open up your toolbox, like yourself also, like you're going around several different versions of training. Like you're not just training with Tom, you're not just training in beds, like you're also doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you're also doing tactical training. Like you're making yourself a versatile tool that is more important for life, not just making yourself look good, but making yourself actually perform like an elite human being and keeping yourself that way because Lord knows, especially these times when we want to do a whole other conversation with this part, the way we are right now with this world, it pays off to be more in shape and to know how to take down somebody and know how to shoot a gun right now, especially more than ever, currently.
I was never a firearm guy. It's not that I was against them. I had a lot of friends that had them. I just never was interested in them. I just never found that they were a subject that I wanted to dive into. But then as I got older, I started getting more and more interested in it. And then you start to think, like, listen, I've been single for a long time. Truthfully, I've just been single for a long time, doing my own thing, focusing on myself, focusing on the dog, and focusing on business.
That I think,
Yeah, shout out Kenji. Shout out Kenji. Bro, first off, side note for Kenji. Kenji, I let him out right before I came here, but it was like the first, I walked him at like 8 o'clock, our usual walk time.
Yeah.
Walked him for about an hour and did his business, whatever. And then he saw me starting to get ready to leave, and he starts getting like, looking around like, where the hell are you going? So I wound up, going outside, filling the car with my stuff, and I let him off the leash, which is rare that I let him off the leash. Because if another dog comes, I gotta really worry about him. But he's like running around peeing on the lawn. I have a huge property, in front of the house that he can just pee on all the trees. And so I run to my car, I put my stuff in. This guy sees me, gets the car, he runs over and he puts his head right against the door. He's like waiting for me to open the door. I'm like, brother, we're not going, you can't call me. I don't know if a man has Howie here. I won't work out.
Which he does actually, yeah.
Which he does, yeah, I know.
Yeah,
So I was like, yeah, I can't even risk it. I can't risk bringing you. But on the topic of like firearms, life training, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you're gonna laugh at the reference I'm gonna say, but a lot of people I feel like just smell their own farts. They really do. They just be farting and smelling that shit. They really do. And they get so worked up with like that they're the shit. They really do. And you see it with trainers, you see it with videographers, you see it with professionals in all areas.
Mhm.
And these dudes are just literally smelling their own farts and licking their own jams. And when it comes down to it, it's like there's always someone better.
Yeah.
There's always someone better. So what you can do though is you can learn new things, practice different types of arts, whether it's martial arts, firearm training, taking all the certain. I mean, Amanda's a clear indication. I keep saying because we're in her space, number one, but also number two, it's like she is the clear like person that is the pinnacle of like learn new shit.
Yeah.
Every time I see that girl's story, she's got another textbook out.
Mhm.
She's got another certification she's doing. And that's how that's inspiring to everybody because that's how we have to live. We should be. I just bought a class on prompting, how to speak to AI more efficiently, like from Google. I bought the class from Google. It's $49. But if that helps set me
I
aside,
talk to AI more efficiently.
well, that's out. So people think that you just need to speak to them like we talk human to human, but it's not the case. You have to really give specific types of details and structure it a certain way to get the most results out of the AI. So prompting is the language that they consider that. But these are the things like AI is becoming very prominent now.
Yeah.
Learn prompting. Like that's what you have to do. You have to learn these different things. And you know, you learning the maces, you learning all these different, I hate to use the words, it's such a buzzword nowadays, but modalities, all these different things that you're learning, these help not only yourself, but your clients and get better in life. So I was always interested in bodybuilding. Like I started doing more of like the hybrid type training, never really did CrossFit. I wasn't really interested in it. And then that turned into like Tom's training and then OG. And then I kind of just like bounced around. And then I got tired of OG. It just was too much, like just constantly. It was hammering me down. That hit workout every single day was beating me down. And I couldn't keep up with it. That and jujitsu, because I started jujitsu a couple months after OG. So I had to weigh my options. Did I want to just do straight OG stuff or did I want to focus on jujitsu? I focused on jujitsu. But in focusing on jujitsu, I didn't focus on my diet for a few months. So like, yeah, a little fluffy. And so now we're back to like focusing on a different type of training that I want to get into, which is the tactical games.
Yeah.
Tactical games, if you're not familiar, is basically like CrossFit with shooting components in it. So rifle marksmanship and pistol marksmanship tied to sandbags and over box jumps and runs in the desert and stuff like that.
The real fun shit.
Fun shit, man. I mean, people keep trying to get me, like I said, to do high rocks. I have no interest in doing high rocks.
No.
None. The funny thing to me is like everybody that I see that does high rocks, they do it. They're miserable during it. I mean, I get it's like a workout, so you're not always having a great time during your workouts, but you're miserable during your work during the high rocks. I'm never fucking doing this again. But then like a month later, they're like, "Oh, I signed up for Chicago, or I signed up for Houston." And it's like, okay, then just don't say that you're never going to do it again. Just fucking do it.
Yeah.
Shut your mouth, train hard,
and go on to the next one.
go and do it. Like if that's what you're going to do. But if you're truly that miserable, then maybe find something else that you like. Maybe there's a different type of sport that you can get into that is similar to high rocks, but just not as intensive and demanding during the competition.
Well, I mean, you just brought it up, and I mean, you showed me the tactical games today, and it's right up my alley between one, it's not exactly like a full-on marathon sprint, there's no exercise that I hate more than just running.
Yeah.
It's boring as fuck, and I also like, props to all the people who can run miles, especially on front of Pooch.
Oh, Pooch is a dog,
I swear
man.
to God, dude.
Pooch is a dog.
There's this one guy, the rowing for 24 hours was.
You rode for 24 hours?
Yeah, it was, I believe, it was, again, I'm not trying to spread
I
any
didn't see that.
misinformation, but yes, I believe it was 24 hours that this motherfucker was on a rower for. I think it was. I may be over exaggerating, but I'm pretty positive.
That's a bad man.
I'm pretty positive it was 24 hours, and it was just recent. I think it was like last month or so. But he, between him and then just the marathon running and his kind of those like training styles was top class. I could never imagine doing a marathon and then going to train Tom the next day.
Yeah. I don't know if he has the energy.
I don't know either. I like, that's just a different level. That's a different level of just endurance, but then also just a different level of discipline towards yourself as well.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the one thing I'll always preach is try to find the training style that will keep you the most consistent. It's not about, just doing what everyone else is doing that's creating the most results, because what's making their results may not create results for yourself.
Yeah.
So we're finding the training style that will keep you consistent, like with Coach, it was the marathon training, and then training like a savage with Tom. Tom, it was always just training with like a savage, but then also like myself, I found enjoyment with kettlebells, maces, and clubs a little later on into my training style, because I was getting real bored of just doing the machines and sitting there at 3 sets 15, 3 sets 12, 4 sets.
It's
Right.
boring.
It's boring as fuck.
It's boring. I don't care how much you like fitness. It's fucking boring.
To sit there and just press a weight and push the weight away from you, no. And then also not for nothing too as well. Like, you're not really able to hit the multi-polar motion for your shoulder joints to really, increase the strength, power between your shoulders, especially when I do jiu-jitsu as well. And all my MMA fighters and athletes in general, especially my pitchers and my quarterbacks, they will attest to it that the strength, the speed, the velocity, and everything behind their shoulders has increased, and the mobility, especially, and the strength. Main part being that they had mobility and strength at the same time being worked on and able to really create strong, powerful shoulders. No other way you're going to be able to train that in gym with a piece of equipment that's, stationary. Right? You're not going to be able to do it with a shoulder press. You're not going to be able to do it with.
It's too linear.
No,
it's too one. It's too. Is the word linear? I guess maybe binary. It's too like A B. It's too this movement to this movement, this movement to this movement. It's not training all around. I mean, I can understand that for pitchers, man. A mace and a club strengthening all the different tendons and joints that are that rotator cuff and all the shoulder mobility.
When I was in my real young years playing baseball. Shit, I wish I was doing when I was young, is just because it would have prevented me from tearing my rotator cuff.
Well, how many guys have Tommy? How many guys get Tommy John surgery because they just throw their fucking arm out? I mean,
yeah,
who knows? It's not to say that a mace or club training could save it, but maybe it gives it that extra mobility and sturdiness to it. You never know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's widely used. It's gaining momentum and popularity, but at what percentage? Because we hang out with like-minded people. So to us, we see a lot of people that use them now.
Yeah.
But out of the whole population of physically active people, how many people know what those are and know how to use them? That's the question.
The amount of times I get that question in the gym, being at unique.
They see that thing. They're like, what is that
What's
shit?
the baseball thing?
Yeah.
And then I see all the guys trying to swing it like a golf club.
Is that for self-defense? Is that for self-defense? I'm just curious why you're swinging that.
It doesn't help that it's also right by the emergency exit. So, sitting there like it's a fucking fire axe that's going to break through the glass.
Yeah.
But one of the things also, there's not one of my clients, another trainer of mine, Billy, who is, I took him under my wing when he first wanted to become a trainer, and I taught him the mace stuff. And he's been teaching his clients, and he's got this one client, Deb, who's like in her, I believe, mid-60s, who's swinging around a freaking mace and looks pretty damn good doing it. Like, someone in their mid-60s moving around a 12-pound to 15-pound mace is pretty damn impressive. Yeah, especially when they're this freaking skinny and fragile, and their risk of injury is skyrocketed just because of the other.
Or she's mitigating that risk of injury.
And that now is exactly what it is. Now it's like it's giving her an opportunity to feel stronger. She even bought herself her own mace now too as well. So I myself
She's
like
watching fucking QVC at home, she's doing all the movements.
yeah, when I tell you that when I first started at Unique, and I was the only one swinging this freaking club 4 years ago, and then now seeing a good portion of my gym either curious with the gloves, picking it up over the head, just doing regular pullovers, or the maces, picking it up and just, you know, putting it behind their head, stretching out their shoulder blades. And it just even the little things of, you know, when people just become more interested, it's just like, yeah, really brought that out over here.
Yeah, it's just different shit to do, man.
Just
And like you said earlier, it's just, you gotta find something that you can stay consistent with.
yeah,
I get bored very easily. I do. I'm sure it has a lot to do with social media and the phone, and, you know, the quick hits of dopamine, another buzzword. But I just get bored very quickly with certain activities and things. So it's just keeping things fresh and different, I think, is super important. And that type of training really does, because towards the end of my bodybuilding, can't call it a career stint. Towards the end of my bodybuilding stint, um, I don't know, I was walking into the gym and I was just like, what is it? Shoulders? Okay. Like,
there we go. It's
let's do
fucking
presses, and
lat
let's do
raise.
lateral raises, and let's go hit the machines, and oh, it's back today. Okay. Let's do some rows.
pull down.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, it's once again, it just gets back to just being fucking boring. And you know, that world just didn't suit me anymore. I just wasn't interested in competing anymore. I couldn't bring a competitive edge to the competition scene that I wanted to do. I was going to stay natural. You know, a lot of guys will say, "Oh, you could be in the NPC natural." Even Andre says it. I love you, Andre. There's a very far and few between people that can stay natural and compete in the NPC.
God gifted genetics.
It is fucking crazy. And I know he was natural for a while, but I mean, it's fucking Andre. What's his stat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
have a podcast
I'm pretty sure he came out the fucking womb.
Yeah, I have a podcast with him on Tuesday, so he was like, I gotta talk to you about some stuff. I was like, all right. I was like, when do you want to talk? He just goes, oh, might as well record it. Let's do it Tuesday. I'm like, oh, Jesus, what the fuck is he gonna talk about?
Let's go back to that train real quick. What got you into podcasting? Because this is like your first official time, like on this fucking platform over here.
Mhm.
I never got a chance to really ask you on yours. Like, what got you into doing this?
So it kind of goes hand in hand with like what I've been doing the last couple of weeks, which is just being more involved with my own content.
Okay.
So I've always had a really good network of people around me. I was always a born networker. I always had a lot of friends in a lot of different places. I could talk to CEOs, I could talk to garbage men. It doesn't matter to me. Like, a person is a person, as long as they're a good human being, that's all I care about. Unfortunately, that's what you think most people should be, but they don't and they can't. So sometimes it's far and few between. Once again, we hang out with like-minded people. So when we start saying things that the majority of the population unfortunately do that we don't, we look at that as weird. They look at it like, what? Like, no, there's not.
We're looked at like an asshole.
Yeah, it's weird.
Certain behavior.
So basically, I bought a camera back in 2017, and I was talking to my mom about this morning, because I said it's funny that I'm doing my content now, because I just have to have more presence of myself. Like, the podcast is great. It takes a long time to get a podcast off the ground. It really does.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe Rogan, I always use him as an example. I think it was like 5 to 8 years before he started getting traction on his podcast, and he was Joe Rogan already.
Yeah.
So it takes a long ass time. And like you had mentioned earlier, with like social media, other trainers, everyone's trying to stand out, everyone's trying to do things. And you have competition everywhere. However, the benefit, though, of the people that continue to show up usually gain all of the fame later on. And when I say all the fame, I mean all of the notoriety of the grinding and the work that has put in for years and years and years. All it takes is one video. All it takes is one podcast. All it takes is one clip to go super viral. And all of a sudden your life changes. So that's really all it takes. And it's pretty interesting when you think about it in that aspect, because once again, we all wind up at the destination or the place that we're supposed to be at the time that we're supposed to be there. So for me, I always had good network of people around me, and I was into the bodybuilding world. And I really did look around at all the people that I knew, like Max Charles, Sadiq, you know, Flex Lewis at the time, like all these people. And I was kind of just like, people wait hours and hours just to shake this person's hand in line, say, I love you, I'm a fan for 5 minutes, or 5 seconds, actually, not even 5 minutes, maybe 15 seconds.
Quick picture, smile.
Smile, next. And I'm around these people all the time. So I said, what if I could just start shooting content around bevs with the people that I'm friendly with, this and that. And I did. I just started using a camera. It was in 2017, 2018. I just started using a camera. I made a couple of videos for my ex-girlfriend at the gym. Then a couple of pros started asking me, hey, Nick, can you shoot a couple of videos like that for me? I was like, sure. Then the supplement company started asking me. Then the magazines started having me do shoots for magazines. I was like, oh, okay. Then my buddy at the time, his dad incorporated Rizzles Productions for me for my birthday. And they gave that to me as a birthday present, as an incorporation paper. So I was like, oh, shit. So it's like a business. That's thick. And then I was doing all shoots on the weekends. And I promise this goes. I was doing all shoots on the weekends, and I was working a main job, got fired from that job December of like 2018, right? No, December of 2017. I got fired from that job, first time I ever got fired. And I knew it was coming. It was just not a good match for me there. They weren't training me the right way. I was selling high-end home theater systems in the Hamptons. It's not a matter of that they fired me because I wasn't selling. It's they kind of set me up to fail. So my quota, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, was about $2 million per year to sell for home theater systems. Yes. As a new rep in the Hamptons, they gave me 6 to 8 months of training, and their training was sending me to job sites in Old Westbury and the Hamptons and New York City, and shadowing. So meanwhile, watching all the installers just install shit. And then I'd come to them. Now, they were a business that was around for 40 years. I would come to them with new leads, like, oh, this architect firm said they want to talk to us about implementing some of our AV essentials into their plans with clients, this and that. Oh, well, we know them. So it's a house account, so you don't get paid as much on that account. So even though they hadn't worked with this company or this architect firm in like 30 years, 20 years.
Because it was
in their system as using them once before, it was considered a house account. Sure. So they kind of set me up for failure. It was fucked up. I was driving out to the Hamptons 3 or 4 days a week. It was a lot. And then I go to beds at night.
All the way from out west?
All the way from fucking Plainview. So it was an hour and a half, hour 45 every day.
Yeah, if anyone from Long Island, that's a long.
There and then back. I'd get out there by 11 o'clock. I'd leave by 3 p.m. So I didn't have to horrible traffic. And I would just drive around to different job sites, trying to network with builders. Hey, who's the lead on the site? Hey, my name's Nick. I'm from so-and-so. I would love to talk to you about, oh, we use a guy. Okay, well, I'd love to talk to you about maybe if you're not happy with
that's 90% of what you would.
It was brutal. It was brutal. So I got fired from there in December. Luckily, I had a buddy who gave me an opportunity at his company because I definitely needed the money at the time. I was still doing shoots, but it wasn't supplementing enough of my income. And I wound up selling copiers. Let me tell you, bro. I've never wanted to drive my car directly into a brick wall more in my life. And it wasn't anything against my friend. My friend did me a fucking solid.
Right.
He really did.
He got you the job.
Casey, for some reason, if you listen to this, bro, Casey, if you listen to this, man, yo, dog, you did me a solid. You really did. And I fucks with you and I appreciate you because I needed the money. But I was just in a bad place, man. I just really was. I was in a bad place. Things were just not great. And it was June of 2018. I got the opportunity to shoot for Under Armour in Vail, Colorado for a lacrosse tournament. We were following a team, FCA. My buddy had me come in as the second camera. And I flew out there and I said, I'm quitting when I go back. Like, I'm going to quit my job and I'm just going to dive into doing this full time, see what happens. I quit. And it was fucking scary. It really was. I bet on myself. I wonder every day why. No, we're doing okay. We're doing okay.
Listen, not nothing. I think you're doing pretty.
I'm doing okay. I'm doing very well. I really am. I'm doing very well. I'm very hard on myself. There's a lot more that I feel like I could be doing. I'm always looking for new retainer clients because unfortunately, if you get complacent when you have a lot of retainer clients, but then one or two, was it Tony?
No, this is just it. Pardon the interruptions over here. Just a little fucking. Yeah, yeah.
Good. Still recording?
Oh yeah, we're still good.
Cool.
Yeah, no,
So you become complacent in the situations that I'm in, where you have a couple of good retainer clients that are paying you really good money every single month, and you don't look out for other business. You're not networking with other people, and then inevitably one or two drop off and you're like, whoa, 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 okay, let's go find some new business. So I have to continually stay hungry, but when you wear all the hats, it becomes difficult.
Yeah.
Because you've been working in the business and not on the business. So these are things that I'm working out as an entrepreneur that has been doing this for X amount of years.
Burnout is a little easier, a little more easier to have for
tough.
yourself.
Burnout's tough. And then on top of it, you have a podcast, you have all your own content that you have to shoot, you want to get your physical activity in, you have a dog. There's a ton of shit that unfortunately and fortunately challenges you on a daily basis. So the way the podcast came about, because now I'm working for myself, is, do you know John Panetti?
Name sounds familiar.
John Panetti's a good friend of mine from Bez. He's a bodybuilder. He's looking like a absolute mountain lately. I mean, it is so scary. He's grown so much. I'm like, dude, please stop whatever you're doing. I'm like, please just slow down.
How old is he?
He's got to be mid to late 20s now. I mean, no, he's like a mountain. It's crazy. He's wearing 3X shirts and they're like, it looks like he's got boulders underneath the shirt holding it up. No, it's crazy. So he's got the deepest voice ever, by the way. Too.
Oh, sorry.
He's got the deepest voice
So,
ever.
yeah, there's a straight up presence in the room. Like you notice the second you were talking or didn't notice that second you just walks in.
Yeah. So he's talking to me one day and he just goes, Nick, I want to start a podcast, this and that. He's like, what do you think? And I was like, oh, okay. I've thought about it, but I never really paid any entertainment to it. I said, all right, let me see what gear you need and this and that. I said, we could set a meeting up. Excuse me. I was like, we could set a meeting up and we can figure out what gear you need and this and that. He's like, okay, cool. Met him at Starbucks. I'm going over the gear, or like 30 minutes into the meeting, he just goes, no, I don't think you understand. Like, I want to do a podcast with you. And I went, oh, sure. Like, so, okay.
So at this point, you didn't have a podcast?
No. So I was like, okay. So I was trying to put out YouTube videos, but that took the back seat because of all the client work that I was doing.
Right.
So getting the camera was originally supposed to be me creating an online presence on YouTube and all these different platforms. But it wound up being, I started getting hired by all these people to shoot their content. So that's how I didn't really like plan to do this for work. It just kind of
bounced to your lap.
It just kind of came to my front door. We all wind up getting to the point that we're supposed to be at, the time that we're supposed to be there. So, I had an office in Roslyn at the time. So we get, actually no, this was before my office in Roslyn. We started recording podcasts at my mom's office. We started going to her office, probably about, I'd say 10 episodes worth. We went to my mom's office after hours, set the mics up, and we had guests come in. We had Andre come in, we had Arash Rabar come in, we had Steve Lorius come for an episode, we had Rick Collins, we had a lot of these different people come in for episodes. And then I got my office in Roslyn. We bought a podcast table, which is still the table that I use in my office now.
Okay.
We bought a podcast table, split it. I mean, Panetti was a fantastic co-host. I mean, all the gear that we bought for that specifically that I didn't have already, we split down the middle. He was like more than accommodating. And the show was called The Voice and Rizzles. And it was great, man. I'm telling you, we were getting crazy traction right out the gate. Then COVID. Couldn't really get guests to come in. Dorian Yates was supposed to come on the podcast.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, Dorian was supposed to come on because John was friends with him, and he was supposed to come to the States. Then his trip got canceled because of COVID. It just shook us up a lot. Getting guests in, getting John to come in because he started having to look for other work because he was a personal trainer and it just wasn't popping for him at the time.
Yeah, that was a real tough
Yeah,
time.
so it was tough for him, and I couldn't expect him to he had no money coming at the time. He had to go do other shit. He had to handle business. And then after a while, it just kind of fizzled out. So we stopped the show, and people started asking me, we really want to hear more of the podcast. So I said, okay, a couple people here and there, maybe 15, 20 people said, we love listening to your podcast. So I was very good friends with Tyler at the time. Tyler and I, we started doing a podcast together called Brajol Brothers. We started having fun with that shit. And it was great. Tyler didn't want to do it after episode 10 or 11. So we disbanded the podcast again. And I said, I'm not doing this shit again. I'm over it.
Just keeping it.
I'm just done because to start from scratch every single time is exhausting. New name, new logos, re-upload the socials, like starting fresh. But I had people messaging me and asking me again, really want to do a show, or really want to listen to the show, blah, 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 blah. Then I had people messaging me about co-hosting with me. I probably had 5 to 8 people message me, I want to do a show with you. I want to do this. And I said, how about this? I'll do my own show, and then you guys can come on as regular co-hosts if you want to do it that way. Cool. A lot of people fizzled out. which is exactly what I knew would happen.
Yeah,
If I started a new show with them,
imagine how many other
we did
podcasts you would have.
exactly, I would have done fucking 10 episodes, they would have fizzled out again.
Another show.
So it's my show
another
now. You wanna come on? You come on. You don't worry about it. It's my show. Jamal comes on regularly. He was one of the ones that asked me if he wanted to do it. Jamal wanted to come on. Tom and I spoke about it afterwards. I had already had the show at the time. Tom and I spoke about it. Now Tom comes on as much as he can. Andre as well. Andre wanted to do one. So
Between Tom and Andre, I'd probably say that those are my top two favorites, just
Yeah.
because it makes you, one, ready to run through a brick wall, but then
Yeah.
also the shit that you guys say sometimes, it makes you laugh my ass off also as a trainer, but then also just as somebody who's constantly tired of hearing the complaints, and constantly tired of hearing people whine and bitch about the stupidest things in the fucking world. And then you got men who are so weak, you got men who are in this fucking different type of generation that are just badass souls who are just trying to find themselves and having a harder time doing that with themselves as well. So hearing that series that you did with Tom for a brief
becoming men again. Yeah, we're gonna get back into it. I know his girl's gonna come on with some kettlebell stuff.
awesome. Love to hear that you guys are gonna sit down with Sam.
Yeah, Sam's gonna come on, and then
he
Tom and
certainly
I,
knows kind of shit.
Tom and I are gonna, people have wanted me to do live podcasts for a while. I want to do live podcasts. I really do. I talk about it every episode. The thing with live podcasts is it does create a much different type of editing and work environment.
Right.
It's a lot more work. I have to get more equipment. I have to be able to live stream while being present in the conversation. Like I don't have a Jamie like Joe Rogan.
Right.
I don't have somebody to sit behind the board, watch
Make
the
sure everything
incoming
goes
stuff,
live,
make sure all the
audio
cameras are
sounds
on,
are
stuff
good.
like that. It's way more difficult than a lot of people kind of understand that aren't in that world. And already I'm constantly always watching the cameras while we record. I'm watching the audio levels. I'm making sure everything's running efficiently and trying to stay in the conversation and in the moment. It becomes very difficult. It really does.
Because nothing is more annoying when you go back and try to listen to the conversation when you're editing or when you're uploading, and then you realize that, oh shit, part of the audio just cut out completely over here on this microphone.
So I've had fucking cameras and stop recording after 20 minutes, and I didn't look and check them, and I'm like an hour and a half in, and I look and the camera's not recording, and I'm just like, oh, you motherfucker. I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? It's like just really just like stick the knife in between the rib. Like, and it's a great guess for some reasons.
Like
Okay.
great wording.
Or I missed the first 20 minutes when we were joking around and having a blue ball. I look and I go, oh, come on.
That wasn't that.
Yeah. So listen, but these are things that you learn about. You know, one of the things that I learned or that I had to learn was the mixer that I bought when I went into my new office. Bought an $1,100 mixer. It's fantastic, it really is. I mean, it's more than I'll ever need. I think I can hook up like, I think 12 microphones to it and shit. Send out a clean, balanced signal to an unbalanced like unit. It's fantastic. It really is. But you know, it's meant for live audio, like for stage stuff. That's why I bought it. I wanted to buy something that was robust, good preamps. But like when I first got it, I'm changing the EQs and I'm trying to learn it as I'm on fly. And it's just, I remember I had the EQ set to male, like voice. And then my Marina came in for an episode and it was still set to male, so it lost some of the high end of the voice because it cuts off.
That's fucking weird.
But I mean, that's audio shit. But this is the
I think
thing.
no, it's weird. It just catches on like that, just off like the tone of a voice. So
Well, it's because it's an EQ band. So basically, it automatically has presets that are tailored to a male voice or a female voice. We have more bass in our voice; they have more high end. So a male voice, it may taper off some of the high end to give you a little bit more boominess with the EQ.
Right.
Whereas a female voice, it may make sure that it keeps some of that high end and takes a little bit of the low end out. So if you have it set to male and you have a female talking to the mic, it's not going to be bad. But the more you listen, you're like, oh, I'm missing a little bit. I'm missing a little bit of like richness from her voice. So you learn. This is the thing though. Like this is a great starting point. You're learning. This is new gear. You're gonna learn from this. This is
gear, new building, new facility.
Yeah, dude, you're gonna learn, and that's the whole point to like life and doing things. I mean, listen, bro. Time goes on regardless. So, almost getting back to firearms in some way.
You gotta love this podcast. It literally just goes in and never ending circle.
So going back to firearms, you know, there's a lot of my friends, and I'm gonna start talking about it on my YouTube channel too. There's a lot of my friends that have asked me, like that I talked to maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago about getting their pistol license. I think everybody, whether you're afraid of firearms or not, you should take a class and learn, because you're afraid of something because you don't understand it. When you understand these are just tools, whether you use them for target practice, whether you use them for self-defense, whether you use them for you know what I'm saying? Like these are just tools at the end of the day. They don't get up and just do things by themselves. So once you learn how to like strip a pistol, put it back together, it's not as scary. You learn the fundamentals of firearm safety and basics. What's the number one rule, Tim? I'm sure you know. Well, that's definitely like one and a half.
Safety on.
The number one rule of firearm safety and firearm training is the gun is always loaded. Even when it's not, the gun is always loaded. We're never pointing it at objects or people or animals or things. Not that you would, but there are some fucking stupid people out there.
Quite a bunch.
Yes, so we always treat it as though the firearm is loaded, unless we strip it and take the slide off. Now it is no longer able to shoot any projectiles out of it, even if it's empty. We're considering it loaded. These are things that people need to learn to feel more comfortable about things. And once again, it goes into throwing yourself into different types of situations, scenarios, training, life.
Yeah.
Bro, the time's going by regardless. So those friends that I talked to 2 years ago about getting their pistol license, they hit me up recently. They're like, "Hey man, I'm thinking about filling it out." I'm like, "Dog, you haven't filled it out. It's been 2 years. I just got like all the certifications. What are you talking about? You haven't even fucking submitted it? Oh man, I really want to go shoot." Well, you would have had it by now if you just did it 2 years ago. So
2 years.
Well, it's crazy. I mean, I submitted my paperwork. First off, never been arrested. Never had any legal problems like that. I submitted my paperwork in November of 23. November of 23, I submitted my paperwork. I got a call for my interview February of 24. I then got my full license in June of 24. So that's for New York, that's a short duration. When I dropped my paperwork off, they said, "Well, okay, we'll call you in 2 years." 2 years. For what? Isn't this a right isn't this like Constitution? Right? Isn't this the Second Amendment? I'll play along. I'll do the way that you're telling me to, because I want to be a good citizen and get the proper training and take the classes that you're asking me to take. I'll do all. But like, kind of ridiculous. Because I can just go buy an illegal gun in 3 seconds and call it a day.
Not for nothing. That, and also, I mean, the one thing I'll never understand about New York is the way that we treat our firearms also, but in the way that we are also taxed heavily, we pay the most, we have the worst fucking oversea of people in this fucking country, and we can't own legal firearms to defend ourselves. Meanwhile, the crime rate has constantly gone up for us for a while. Burglaries, hard carjackings, houses getting robbed, people getting pushed into the fucking train. That was another one that was really starting to scare me, was people legitimately for no reason just getting pushed in the train tracks as trains coming down.
The woman getting burned alive as the dude sat there and stared.
The coward shit is really pissing
Let
me
me
off.
tell you something. Like, here's the problem. You have the Daniel Penny effect. The problem is
yeah.
people don't want to step in and intervene. Because now let's throw the scenario in there. Let's say you and I are on that train or on the platform. We watch this dude flick a match on this woman. She burns. Okay? And he's sitting there like the fucking Joker, watching her burn to death.
Laughing, literally.
Dude, I don't think he was laughing. I think he was just like watching. Like he's watching a s'more at a campfire. Okay? Now let's say I'm not sitting here and watching this shit. I grab him, I fuck his ass up. I'm going to jail. Even though this dude just killed this woman, this innocent bystander, and the video proves it. I go to jail because I took shit in my own hands. That is something that I can't get behind. I am all for a civilization that we have. I really am. I'm all for everybody, not putting our hands on each other, stuff like that. But unfortunately, and I've had to explain this to some people that don't always think in the middle, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I've had to explain that, unfortunately, there are evil people in this planet. Really dog shit, evil human beings, okay? And unfortunately, evil needs to be met with evil sometimes. Because if I tell the burglar that comes into my house to shoot my dog and kill me and steal my belongings, if I tell him, no, sir, you need to leave, he's gonna shoot me in the fucking face and walk out.
Here while I dial 911.
Yeah, he's gonna shoot me in the face, walk out, and take whatever that he wants on his way out too. Okay? That's not how this goes. That dude needs to be met with the same force that he's bringing to me. I'm sorry. It is what it is. I will do it responsibly under New York state law and not hunt him out in my own house. You know how I'll do that? That's the craziest shit to me. Do you know?
Wait a minute. Right,
backtrack. I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna
backtrack a little bit because my mind, you got me fucking.
I'm gonna teach you
like
this.
Scooby-Doo.
I'm gonna teach you this because I just went over this in the firearm class that I just got certified with. So if somebody breaks into my home, okay, I am not allowed to go and look for them in my own house. I have to stay in one room and wait for him to advance on me. Then I am allowed to use force.
New York, can we get the shit together, please? For the love of God, can we just do the simple basics of just one, he's in my house, I'm going to go find him and make sure he can't come fucking enter through my house.
I'm just very confused as to how we got to a community decision that the guy entering my home has rights. That's what I'm confused about. The guy that has broken through the locked door,
invaded my private
invaded my space, that he in some way has rights.
But I can't go hunt him in my house.
Yep.
I have
Someone's breaking into your car outside. You're not allowed to go after him. If you go outside, let me tell you, if you go outside with a gun, a firearm, you're getting prosecuted up the ass. If you go outside with a firearm, if you go outside and you put Buddy in a chokehold and you fuck him up, yeah, you're probably gonna have a DA that's gonna say, why didn't you just call the cops and let him take the car and deal with it later?
The cops are gonna take 30 minutes to get to where I'm at.
This is the unfortunate situation that, the more that I look into stuff like this, and we need to get back to like a common sense type of scenario.
Yeah.
You said we have weak men. We do. We have weak men. The quote that Joe Rogan has said on his podcast a million times, I don't know who actually started it or put it out into the world originally.
I think it was
Weak.
FDR.
FDR? Is it weak men? That's the one I'm thinking of?
I may be misquoting, so don't come after me with this bullshit. But I'm pretty
Strong
positive
men
FDR.
create easy times create weak men create hard times create strong men.
Yep.
And the cycle continues. And we're in that space right now where weak men have been in charge for far too long.
And created some of the hardest times that this country has seen.
Yep.
In the well over the last 20 years.
And it's gonna be a clawing fight to get out of this. I think fitness, I think firearm training, I think nutrition and keeping yourself in check. Not
having the right community around you as well.
Correct.
Having the right people inside this way you don't have all these thoughts and all these things by yourselves. Like it's not just one man wins the entire war. It's you have your army with you of people who are knowledgeable, who have common sense and a caring heart all at the same fucking time. It's a sense to defend yourselves and also at the same time.
Watch out though.
Have dinner.
Watch out though, because you're speaking on terms that the government doesn't like, of domestic terrorists. Just because you populate people that are strong in your community, that gets the government a little weirded out. They don't like that.
The anarchists.
Yeah, they don't like it. They don't like that. They don't like it when everybody hangs out together and talks and starts saying things aren't right.
Yeah, we need to fix a couple of things in our country. Why don't we actually, why don't we actually talk about things that we would like?
They don't want you to talk. They don't want you to understand, because for a long time, I think things are changing right now. Currently, with the new administration, whether you want to hear it or not, I think that things are changing for the better. It's going to be tough for a while. It really is. There's a lot of decisions that have been made over the last 15, 20 years that have really fucked us and have really put corporations at the forefront of America and have put the citizens last, not only for our dollar, but for our well-being. Okay, look at the food supply. The food supply is in fucking shambles. What is recommended for children to eat at a young age, what's recommended for the physical activity levels for kids, all these different things are a cancer that slowly rot away at the youth especially. It makes kids weak as they're growing up, as opposed to strong.
Yeah.
We need those Spartan warriors. We don't need kids that are just fucking iPad kids.
who are stuck slouched over, looking at their phone all the time, wondering what the next TikTok video is gonna get
Yeah,
them.
dude. I mean, listen, the problem is everybody wants to become internet famous nowadays, and they don't realize that we need the people that work the oil rig. And that's why the people that work the oil rig get paid a lot of money. But it's hard fucking work. And it takes a very, very gristled type of burly individual to like work on those things.
Dude, when I hear some of these kids, especially in my gym, when they complain about having to work 8 hours, my eye genuinely twitches because I look at you like, you're complaining about working 8 fucking hours at 20 to 21 years old?
Dog,
Are you mentally sane?
dog, I love my cousin. My cousin, she has her moments where she definitely doesn't think things through, but she is a good person inherently. But she was just talking about recently, she got let go with her corporate job, she was a VP, all this stuff. She's talking about how her demands are, she doesn't want to go into the office. Yo, you don't demand shit. You need a
No.
fucking job.
Yeah,
You need to like listen to whatever the company is requiring of you. You don't get to demand anything.
it's not your company.
Get your ass into the fucking office. Like, yo, unless you work for yourself, then you need to like figure, if you don't want to go to an office ever again, like that's your goal, then build something for yourself. Okay, great. But you can't demand from a company like, oh, I don't want to go into the city. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. You're asking them for the job. What the fuck?
They don't want to pay you.
What?
They don't want to pay the amount of money that they.
Can you imagine if somebody came to me and they're like, yo, Nick, I really want to join Rizzles Production. Well, Rizzle Media Group is my company name now, but they're like, I really want to join RMG. I really do. Like, I know I could be of value, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Great, okay. Yeah, I'm just not going to come into the office. I'm just only going to work from home. It's like, oh, okay, why? Why?
How?
Yeah, yeah. What? I'm sorry. Or and you know, there are comments that have been made about the president making all the federal workers go back to the office. Go back to the office.
Yeah.
Y'all have been slacking off since COVID. No one is on their A game anymore. Get your ass into the fucking office.
They sell devices that make your mouse move.
Yeah, bullshit, bro.
They to make
Listen,
sure
I
that
slack
they
off,
can
dude.
monitor.
Listen, man, I slack off. Don't get me wrong. There are definitely days where I need to get edits done, and I just don't. But you know what? At the end of the day, I work for myself.
Well, the recharge day also.
I work for myself, bro. I've
burn out a lot.
since 2018, I had the peak of 2019 where I was doing great, and I was set to make some of the most money I ever made at that time. COVID hits, all that money goes to zero. So you know what? I've fought and clawed through a lot of different scenarios and situations. So I think I'm entitled to, you know, if I don't feel like editing something for one day and it's not on a deadline, I'm not going to. I can chill in bed for a little bit, which I don't. I feel guilty. I feel guilty. I do every time.
This stuff, like nothing. Like I personally, I would just love to be okay with just one day to be able to just do nothing. But mentally, no, there's no way. There's no way I can just sit there and just do fucking nothing. I tried the Xbox thing. I tried going back to games.
I do love playing Xbox.
I tried.
That's my
We
latest.
talked about this. We talked about this the other day. Well, a couple of like back during Christmas. And you know, it's how much I've been trying to get back on Xbox. I literally will turn on the game. I will play maybe 30 to 45 minutes or an hour, and then my attention span is already like, what clientele do I have tomorrow? What do I gotta do as far as next week goes? How many classes am I gonna teach? Who's gonna get covered? What way am I gonna promote this online platform? This client just messaged me and I gotta go into a whole fucking message. Like there's a lot of things that just constantly, it's just like I would love for my brain just let me sit down and just do nothing for a whole day. But the reality is when you have the goals that we have as not only just like entrepreneurs, but people want to eventually work for themselves and people that want to really one enjoy their fucking life while also enjoying the hustle. It's something that not everyone is going to understand. Everyone loves to throw that fucking word around entrepreneur. Everyone loves to throw that word like they're next gonna be the next big thing on fucking social media.
Maybe you may not be though.
You could do like that, like you said earlier. It could take just that one big video for everything to blow up, but the reality is also like how stable is it? You know, is it just going to be a quick pump and dump?
Yeah, how volatile is it going to be? I mean, dude, I got big fucking followers from a couple of videos that I posted early on my TikTok. Dude, within like I think a couple of months, I was at 53,000.
How did you and Juju get together?
Oh, Juji?
Yeah,
Juji's the homie, man. I love Juji. He's so it's kind of like a backstory with him. He's with Rain,
okay.
and because I was shooting a lot for Rain at the time, we just became friends. We were at every convention together. So I actually get to see him at the Arnold at the end of the month. I'm excited. I love Juji. He's the shit. I may try to pump out a podcast with him again. I may try to bring some gear with me.
That was a great episode.
Dude, he was awesome, man. And I was glad that we went into an area of like his business life and just like how he got to where he is, as opposed to just, wow, you lift a lot of weight. You do some funny skits. It's like, nobody wants to hear that.
Flamingos around.
Yeah, it's like, okay, we get that. But, you know, who is the person? And,
His smelling salts are insane.
yeah.
Yeah,
He sent me,
genuinely.
you know what? He sent me a bunch, and I wound up giving them away because I was like, dude, I can smell them through the bag. I know I'm not going to use these. I was like, I'd rather put these to good use. But so I was a fan of his for years, just through Antoine Vaillant, who was an athlete with Animal back in the day. And I used to watch them go do the vlog series, traveling to the Arnold and doing all this different stuff. And I just saw Juji in tandem with Antoine. I used to watch all their YouTube videos. And so it was funny when I was shooting with Kai and I met Juji before the rain stuff. I met Juji. I was like, oh shit. I said, yo, dude, I just want to let you know I'm a big fan from like one of his earlier videos was called Nuclear Summer 4, where they just flip around, they play retro video games and hung out. He goes, can I just give you a hug? Because like you're a real fan. I was like, oh yeah, dude. So like he dapped me up and we were cool. And then just over time, we just became friendlier and friendlier. We went to the gym together when we were shooting in California. We went to the gym together, trained not together, but I let him do his thing.
I was gonna say, how was it actually working out with
You know what? He did tell me I could work with him, but I said, you know what, dude, just do your thing, bro. And he had people bothering him like while he was working out.
I can imagine like you probably get that a lot.
It's tough.
No matter whatever gym you go
It's
to.
tough watching some of these guys, man. It's
Yeah.
tough to have like a life outside because like people just want you to just be the personality that you are on YouTube.
That's why I'm thankful for places like this. I can always bring someone like of that kind of stature to over here at Apex and not have them get bothered by a fucking a million people trying to talk to them.
It's difficult, man. You know, and I think people have to have some type of understanding of this as a human being. And like, you watch this person all the time, so you feel more connected to them. But it's a person, so like they have a life too. You know, if I was a fan and I wanted to get some like a picture with Juji, I would just say, hey man, I don't want to bother you during your workout, but I'd love to get a picture of you when you're done. If I'm still here and you're still around, you know, just hopefully I see you in a little bit. That's it. Keep it very. Excuse me, the carbonation. The carbonation made me burp. Just keep it very like human, as opposed to some of these people that stand there while he's doing a set and they watch him.
They're recording him.
No, it's weird. You don't know the shit I've seen. It's fucking weird. It's like, guys, I've had to tell people with Kyle, I'm like, guys, he's got to work out. You got to go somewhere else. I'll be the villain. It's cool. Go somewhere else. It's like enough. They'll have people lined up while he's doing it. He's just warming up. I'm like, bro, we've been here for 2 hours. We got to start this workout, please. Like, I got to get out of here.
See, so it's when people like that, it comes down to it's like, well, I would never. I can never.
But once again, we're
like
talking about people that aren't in our like-mindedness in that scenario. These are people.
I don't remind myself.
Here's a gem for everybody and for yourself, which I think I said on our podcast as well, because I usually recite it a lot of times. Some of my mom's best advice that she ever gave me was, we make the mistake of believing that everybody thinks the way we do.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's not necessarily that they're wrong. They're just, that's what they believe. Yeah. So they think it's okay to do this with this person. They think it's okay. I'll give you an example. I had a guy when I was in Dubai, I was filming Kai, and I had a guy big Somalian dude. I mean, this motherfucker was huge. The Redcon guys told the guy, you have to wait on the line. He like went, oh yeah, okay. And he like walked past them. And I was standing next to me while I'm filming Kai. And I've had people like abusing the line all day at this point. I was there filming for like 4 or 5 hours already. So I turned to him. I'm filming Kai. I'm looking to my left and he's standing next to me. And I dropped the camera. I go, yo, man. I was like, I heard what they told you. You have to wait on the line. He just goes, okay, well, I'll just real quick. I go, that's not how this works. I said, you're not anybody famous. And if you are, I don't know who you are.
That shit right there, like that fucking sense of entitlement.
Oh,
really
yeah.
Makes you want to just punch somebody in the fucking mouth.
Yeah. So I said, you need to go and wait on the line. And he just goes, okay. And he turns back. He's looking at Kai, waiting for Kai to like acknowledge it. And I look at him and I put the camera down now. This table next to put the camera down. I go, you say okay, but you're not actually listening to me. You're not processing what I'm telling you. What I'm telling you is get in the back of the fucking line. And so he squared up with me. And I look at him and I go, what the fuck are you gonna do, bro? What do you think's gonna happen here right now? Like, what are you gonna do? What, you think you're gonna fist fight me over trying to shake Kai's hand? Like, bro, go to the back of the line. Looked at me and he just walked away. And he went to the back of the line. The whole reason I tell this story is because he thought that this was okay to do. He thought that he was gonna punk somebody, like some dude, I'm five.
Those bigger guys, they always.
He's probably about your height too. Like, listen, I'm 5'7", dog. I'm not tall, but I'm like,
always think they have that.
I'm looking at it, I'm like, dude, I don't know where you think this is gonna go, but I'm not gonna back down on you. Like, I got security here, shit like that. It's cool, bro. Even if I'm losing the fight, they're coming over to grab you. Like, oh, don't worry. Like, I'm gonna be okay. And you're gonna be whisked out of the convention center. So let's just be clear what's gonna happen here.
So either get to the back of the line or take your chances of just.
And he waited
throwing
in
the fuck
line.
out.
He waited in line. I got my video too. I was like, I'll video you online. I'll video you too.
That's what happens when we follow the fucking rules.
Just follow the rules, man. It's like you don't have to like the rules, but unfortunately, if you're going to partake in activities that require a rule set, you need to do the rules.
And then, well, I'll let, before we start to wrap things up over here with my 3 questions that I have for you.
So,
The fucking
yeah, no, I go on that rant.
last year when we had, I mean, that's what this is for. And we're not on an Instagram reel where I actually, had to start.
It's nice. You can just do a long form chill
Yeah.
and just have a conversation.
And I feel like when it comes down to everybody in the fucking mother wanting to do a podcast right now,
Mhm.
you know, as someone who's been doing this on and off since 2021, out of my own basement, and I do this shit for fun.
Mhm.
I do this because I enjoy conversation. I enjoy learning about people. I don't get paid. I don't get something that. What really turned me off from doing it so much last year also was when I had people genuinely that had the audacity to say, like, you should really have me on your podcast. You should really, you should really sit me down. It's like, you should really know I do this for fun. You should really know that I do this with people that I actually like having a conversation.
Mhm.
People that I like to see succeed. People that have something of my own interest that can really, I want to learn more details about. Or someone that just genuinely, I fuck with their attitude and they want to promote something. They want to sit there and have an actual long form source of content behind that. Sure, we'll sit down and have a conversation about that. That's not a problem at all. But when people go into this thing and they're thinking immediately that their clip is going to blow up or they're going to have the next trendy big podcast or all this other shit, what is one of your messages that you have for the individuals that are out there that are really wanting to either turn this into the next big thing or really understanding what it's like to do this, not only as a full-time basis, but to really bet on yourself and to put all your effort into yourself?
Takes a long time. Takes a long time. A lot of people get into this because it's fun, and it is fun. But then, when they're episode 20, episode 30, episode 60, and they still have 10 views, 20 views, 50 views, the fun starts to wane because they're putting money into this. And they're looking at it like, well, I thought that I was going to get a little bit of a return by this time, but I'm spending all this money. I mean, my podcast, I don't make any money still. I'm episode 100 and probably 26, 27 at this point. Okay. I mean, dude, there are plenty of days where I want to throw the towel in and be like, well, fuck it. And then I'll have a great episode and it'll just blow up in terms of like views, where I'll have the audio side will get like 50 to 100 views and the video side will get like 400 or 500 sometimes. That's great. I mean, that's good for somebody that doesn't, I'm not famous. Like I'm just a regular guy.
50,000, 100,000.
Just think about that. Just think about that in the grand scheme of like a stadium. Think about how many people 20 people is. Okay, it's not that much, but when you think about it, like in terms of people congregating in an area,
that's 20 clients. That's a pretty decent month.
It's pretty good. It's a good month. Now think about if you have 100 listeners. That's a good amount of people. 100 people listen to this podcast. Okay, cool. Think about like some of the ones where you have 1,000 people listen.
Authentically listening.
1,000 people viewed my video, like on YouTube. 1,000 people. Think about how many 1,000 people is. It's a lot of people.
Yeah.
We go into you started off by saying that everybody has a podcast. They do. There's a lot of people that try to have a podcast. I've seen it. People that I know personally, a lot of them don't have it after episode 10 because they either run out of ideas on things to do, they just aren't consistent with it, or once again, it doesn't bring them any monetary value at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, the best tip that I can give everybody is if this is really something that you want to do, like content creation, podcasting, all this stuff, you have to just stick with it. You know, the sensationalism stuff, if you're gonna do sensational type shit to try to get viewers, it's gonna die out. I mean, I see it all the time. The people that get the millions of followers because they're pieces of shit in person, like to people, and the views are really just inflated because people want to see the reactions of somebody doing something nasty to people. That those people usually fall off after a while. You know, the people that are consistent, they're rewarded as time goes on with more views, better guests, better opportunities in terms of sponsorships and partnerships and whatnot. I mean, I put up the other day, you know, your videos aren't seen at all until they aren't anymore. And then a bunch of people start watching them. You know, Roka reposted me because I did the unboxing of the Andrew Huberman glasses. I bought those. They didn't give me those. I bought them. I was interested in seeing them. Nobody else showed them online. So I said, all right, fuck it, let me do a video on it. Did a video, and then you got Andrew Huberman messaging you, please let me know how you like them. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, big fangirl moment.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool shit. You know, I've had the opportunity to be around a lot of big name people, Juji, Action Bronson, Flex Lewis, Kai Green, Matt Serra with that stuff. I've had the opportunity to be around a lot of really big name people. I think one of the benefits that I've always brought with me is I don't get starstruck by celebrities. And I think that's important because the people that do turn people off because at the end of the day, everyone's just people.
Yeah, that's another thing I've also seen firsthand in this industry too. Last year, getting a chance to sit down with Phil Heath and have a couple conversations with him, and
he's good people, man. He's a nice guy. I've met him a couple times. He's a good guy. But I'm always with Kai, so we have like this beef, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
But when you get a chance to really sit down and talk with greatness, but also sit down and talk with people who are, on that next level of fame, and just genuinely treat them as like a person and have a real conversation with them, they're more enticed to have more conversations. Like one of the best examples I can always have is DMC from Run DMC. When I first came back home from basic training back in 2016, me and my good friend went to a bar concert of his, and he called me up to the stage because I wore my basic training fucking jacket like a typical, army noob. And it called me up to the stage and thank you for my service and all that stuff. It was a dope moment. We got a chance to really talk, and then we sat down, we had a conversation afterwards, hung out an hour after the show. Fast forward now 5 years to Comic-Con, and he has his own booth, and we see each other, and he goes, Midtown Bar, 2016. And immediately it was just
crazy,
like,
right?
It's like, wow,
a crazy feeling.
I had no real thing. I had no idea that the guy even was going to remember me at all. I also looked totally different than when I did back in 2016. The fact that he still just recognized my face and they said, come over here, let's have a conversation again. They genuinely just want to have real conversations. Like, obviously, there's going to be the shithead celebrities that are going to be wanting their dicks up and their fucking red carpet rolled out and all that shit.
Fart sniffers.
Yeah, just going back to the fart sniffers.
Fart sniffer and jam lickers. Yeah, we're good on those.
Yeah, no, I'm good on those.
I don't want to sit down with those people. There's been some big name people that have asked to come on my podcast, and I have no interest in sitting down with them. I have no interest in sitting down and talking to them. And I'm not gonna fake a conversation for an hour, 2 hours.
That part right there, like you have to fake your interest in that. No, there's no purpose.
I like a nice, relaxed, chill, like have a conversation, whatever comes up talking wise, great. Whatever doesn't, you do as another episode. I'm cool with that. I think that's what people want to hear. We've been fed so much curated content over the years where like everything's perfect. Everything's perfect. No, nobody's perfect. Nothing is perfect. We do our fucking thing. We hang out, we shoot the shit, we do it. It's not like, oh Tim, what do you feel about this? And it's like that. It's not like that. It's just a very free form, this and that. Hey yo, what do you I was thinking about this the other day. What are your viewpoints on X, Y, Z?
Yeah, see, there's no script here. There's no talking points. It's literally just let's shoot shit. We got a big mic here. Some aesthetics here for
Success
in the background. Yeah, it's up there. But the failure part too is the one thing that I really think people need to get the most comfortable with when it comes down to everything. It's not going to be perfect no matter what you put out, like the pictures.
So most of your content's not going to get any views. No. It's just not. Most of your shit.
Content with me and my girl gets more views.
Yes, because it's more personal. People like to see shit that they can relate to. They don't want to see another workout video. They don't want to see this and that. Like I get it, man. I'm doing it because people have never seen me train before. But after the 500th time of them seeing that, they get bored of it. It is what it is.
It's annoying with the algorithm though, because I'm not gonna lie, when I post up some pretty solid clientele videos, they'll get like 200 or 300 views on my story. I post up a picture of me and my girl, 700, 800 views. It's just like,
No, it's weird. It's weird.
What's with this
Let me tell you something that I found very interesting. What I found very interesting is anytime that I was in the hospital, I never posted in the hospital because I wanted like
the attention or
the attention.
yeah.
Just posted like, going in for just round 2 of the surgery that I talked to everybody on the podcast about. Like, just going in, we're gonna be great. That got thousands of views on my story, almost like the algorithm knows that you're in a hospital gown and they push it out to more people. Never does my stories get like 2,000, bro, through the fucking roof. I'm like, why? All of a sudden, you're just pushing it to more people.
Yep.
I've been listening to Gary Vaynerchuk a lot again lately. I just think he always has very good points. He says live is the real way to just be growing at this point. Live. Like you need to be on live at least 2 hours a day on TikTok. You know what, bro? Set a camera up though when you're with clients. Show you coaching, show you training people, shit like that. Like that. It doesn't have to just be like where you're sitting there interacting for 2 hours straight.
I could not do that.
It's tough, man. I mean, you know,
live for 2 hours.
I want to set it up in my office where like I'm editing, I can like do a Q&A, hang out, shit like that. Like that's fun.
Yeah, that'd be a different story because you have time to really look over and look.
Yes,
at that.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that type of content, but you know, he talks a lot about day trading attention. That's his big book, I believe his book was called, and like his big like buzzword now is day trading attention. That's what we do on social media. He said you could post 3 times a day. Just because you get 10 likes on the first post, you may get a ton of likes on the second post. Not everybody's going to see your content. They're not pushing it out to all your followers. So you could post 10 times, 20 times a day. Not everybody, it's not like I think I have like 7,000 followers. I never get 7,000 likes on my posts. None of us do.
No.
But the whole point is not everybody's going to see that content anyway. So he suggests posting 2 to 3 times a day. I get it. Once again, we run out of content, we run out of things to post. You want to keep the quality up and whatnot. It's a mixed bag. But the more content, the better, because you're just going to be in everybody's face. For me, if I post about my business and what I'm doing on a daily basis, bro, people forget. Like people see podcast clips, they see pictures and videos of Kenji. They forget sometimes what I actually do to make money, which is videos and photos. So like if I'm putting content out there that I'm doing that, and I'm in people's face all the time, people go, oh shit, you know, like I need stuff for my business, or I need this, I need that. If I'm not posting and I'm not staying in people's faces, Tim, you got a busy life. You don't remember that Nick does photos and videos, right? You know, somebody asks, hey, you have anybody that does photos and videos? I'll let you know. Like off the cut, you may not remember that because I haven't been in your face about it.
Right, but when you're constantly putting the content out there, constantly when I swear on the algorithm, he's popped up again.
Bro, there's a Japanese barbecue spot, for example. This is like out of left field. Japanese barbecue spot. The one day that I want Japanese barbecue, if I've seen their ads or I've seen their pictures 50 fucking times in my face, I'll be like, oh shit, that spot, what was that spot over there? I kept seeing them post about it. Let me go. That's how that works.
Implant in the brain.
Implant. You gotta just stay in people's faces. Especially nowadays when they're so distracted. You just keep putting shit out there, all the platforms. You're gonna fail a lot. You're gonna have 0 views on a lot of shit. I try to tell this to my clients too. The clients that I work with on retainer. I said, I know this looks good for me to consistently get business, but it's the truth. You have to just keep posting. Whether it's just all of my videos and content or it's your own mix with mine, you gotta keep throwing shit out there. You do.
See, and that's the part where it's just like there's that part of me that looks at it as so tedious, but then there's
it is. It's a whole nother job.
Yeah, that's what it is. Just like it's like I'm running the gym 8, 10 hours, 12 hours, 15 hours a day. Plus online clientele, plus the coming over to here as well, you know, constant driving back and forth. And then when I go back home, it's not just, you know, sit down, relax, and throw the game on. It's sit down, open the laptop, start programming again, and then to edit this video, record this, edit this, record this, snip this, do that, and it's like, oh.
The content side is easier for me because where people would pay thousands of dollars a month for people to like do what I do, I can just do it for myself. So that's a win for me. Like with my workout videos now, I already have all the gear. I know how to use it all. I've been using it for years.
Now
and I know how to edit it.
Recording it all.
Whereas somebody that doesn't know any of that, they're just figuring it out for the first time for their business or for their own brand. That's what it comes down to. you know, speaking, and I know, I know you had said you wanted to wrap, however long you want to do, you know me, but
Same thing here, I can go right.
so in terms of like your business versus your brand, people follow the CEO versus the company all the time.
Yeah.
They want to, so like if you, what, do you have a company that you, like your training company, or is it just on your own deal?
No, it's just on.
Let's just say Apex, right?
Yeah.
Let's just for Amanda, let's use her as an example. I'm sure that she has far more followers on her personal account versus the Apex account.
Yeah, that would be correct.
Yeah, because people follow the CEO and the head of the company. They're more interested in the individuals that are running things and doing things versus just whatever the company is running.
Yeah, you look at Tom also, yeah, Tom is another great point with that.
Tom versus Strength Factory.
Yeah, Tom.
Who gets more engagement? But I think he does collaborations now. That was a good feature for Instagram.
Yeah.
I love that.
That was one of the best features they ever came out with, because it also just gave the opportunity for multiple people to get the views and the likes and to get the more names that are out
Me
there.
to be able to tap into your views as for your audience, you to tap into my audience, like be able to just cross network. I mean, that's been a lot of the podcast growth too. I have you on, your people listen because they like you, and then they go, oh, this guy, Nick, you know, maybe I like it. Maybe I like what he has to say. Let me check out a couple episodes. Now maybe they're listening more consistently. Same thing, vice versa. You
That's how my girl found SK.
Yeah, so there you go. She told me that. Yeah, it's fucking awesome. So like, and then vice versa. You post this, I reshare it, I post it, this and that. They go, oh shit, this dude Tim's got some cool shit going on, this and that. Oh, maybe I need a personal trainer. Maybe he's out in my area. This is how networking works. This is how it all like actually comes to fruition.
Yeah, and then people are just too scared and they're too timid and they want everything to be theirs, strictly on their own name. No one wants to work together. No, fuck that. Get in with the right people, put the people who are better than me, and let me learn from them. Let me also partner up with them, and let me get an opportunity to really blow up as well, alongside with them, not try to take them over and not try to steal from them. Work together and collaborate and actually put real work and effort behind that word collaboration and make it a real effort behind that collaboration.
The thing is, nobody wants to give more than they're receiving. That's what happens in a lot of professional environments. Nobody wants to feel like they're being taken advantage of. So like if a big name comes into my podcast, I've never wanted them to feel as though I'm using them as leverage to get their followers.
Yeah.
So I've always tried to just keep the playing field like super neutral. You know, a lot of people have a lack of opportunity in their mindset. I've had to battle it for years. There's more than enough work for everybody to get fed and to make a living. Like, there is. You have to battle that thought out of you sometimes because you feel like you're missing out on certain opportunities. When I see another videographer get an opportunity, I'm like, oh shit, could I have gotten that client or something like that? And you start to have that internal battle. It's just like, yeah, maybe that client just wasn't for you, dude. Like, there's plenty more. There's plenty more that'll pay a premium for what you do. Just keep hitting the grindstone.
You'll find your clientele.
Yeah.
Or your clientele will find you.
Yeah.
If you actually show one, you're passionate enough behind it, you believe in what you're about, and you actually are efficient at what you're about.
Dude, there's a billion personal trainers in this fucking area.
There's YouTube, there's free YouTube videos.
There's a billion people. Why do they sign up with you? Well, because they're invested in you as a human being.
Yeah.
They like Tim. Tim's their guy. Just like there's a billion videographers and photographers. And let's say 100 of them are even with me. We all have the same quality. We all produce the same thing. We're all the same price. Maybe the people like working with Nick better than working with Aaron, better than working with Anthony. Or maybe they like working with Anthony over Nick. Okay, that's okay. I'm not offended. That's okay.
Just guess what? There's about another 10 other people that I can go talk to about this shit right now.
So coming from that mindset, that's something that I'm constantly not challenged with, but that's something I'm constantly reminding myself of. It's like that there's more than enough opportunities for everybody, and it's okay to help other people out. It's okay to like work with one another. Just don't get taken advantage of. Just understand the difference, because there is a big difference.
It's not stealing, like not for nothing. If you're gonna, especially in this industry, I keep bringing it back to personal training stuff. If you're going to take other people's content or other workouts, and at least tag them and give them.
Well, yeah, credit the people that are at the forefront of what they're doing.
Yeah,
like it's okay to be a personal trainer and say, oh shit, I like the program from this program. I'm gonna start incorporating some of this into what I do for myself and for my clients. That's okay. That's you learning. No one's reinventing the fucking wheel.
No.
None of us. Me in the photo and video industry, me, training industry, everything. No one is reinventing. No podcaster. We're all regurgitating shit that is like known in certain pockets of information. That's just what it is. But the people that follow you or that watch what you're putting out there, they might not know that information. So you're really just bringing that to them.
See, and then it's annoying when you see people that are taking that credit or not, poor people are taking that content or taking the ideas and all that. No credit to, no none of that shit, and then they sit back and they wonder, well, why isn't no one working with me?
Mhm.
Well, I wonder why that is.
Well, it's a more deep-rooted situation. You're just a piece of shit human being. Nobody wants to be around you like that. It just is what it is.
And I fully do believe that people can change, because I don't believe everybody can always be that way in general, but it all depends on also, it comes down to another magic word, accountability.
Yeah.
And you have to look in the mirror and say, well, yeah, I fucked up, but let me fix the bridges that I tried to burn down, and let me actually repair these things while I can. Because especially if you're, in your twenties, you make a lot of mistakes, and you burn a lot of bridges in friendships, or you end up saying or doing stupid shit with each other. Plenty of life to still forgive and move on. You just gotta watch out a little bit more on how other people are with their tone and with the way they talk about you. Like, there's been plenty of people within the last year, especially myself, that I really look back and it's like, well, you completely did me the dirtiest, and I can't believe that I ever even thought about trusting you and all this other shit. And then you get your little life lesson from these people, but you still don't wish them harm, you still don't wish them ill and all that stuff. It's just like, you know what? No, I know where I stand, I know where you stand. God bless. I hope you have a great one. We'll, if we cross paths, I'll say hello, I'll give you a nod, a handshake, but then after that, no.
There have been plenty of people that I've been friends with over the years that I have just stopped being friends with. Just difference of interest at one point, difference of personalities, things just aren't cohesive anymore. And it's cool. I don't take it personally. I'm just like, yeah, I don't want to be around you anymore, and it's okay. And I don't wish harm on you. I don't wish bad upon you. I just wish you to just go be somewhere else. Just don't be around me.
Yeah, or change your behavior a little bit.
No,
Change your character.
no, no.
Oh, no,
People don't change. I know you said that just now. You like to think people can change. People don't change. Inherently, I think people can mask their activities to a certain extent, but I think the original personality and way a person acts, I believe that usually comes out again at some point.
If they're around a certain environment that's catered towards that time frame. What I have seen firsthand is that when you pull somebody out of that environment, or you pull somebody out of their toxicity zones, then you genuinely do see changes in their characters because they were not enlightened to certain things, or didn't have an opportunity to change certain things, or even through the help of something like therapy as well can really enlighten some things, because most people maybe not understand that where they're coming from is coming where they're coming at is from a place of pain, or from a place of trauma, or from a place of misunderstanding in general, and then not being able to properly execute their emotions on how to handle that misunderstanding. I believe that there's change through that, but also when it comes down to this generation too as well, it's very easy for people to say that they're going to change, or say they make these changes. Reality is, what did you change in 5 months that you were going to change?
Show me.
Change comes in years. It's not just something that you're magically going to become the next best version of yourself overnight. It's something that is a constant, painful roller coaster of realizing your mistakes, realizing the people you hurt, realizing that you can blame yourself, but not be a complete asshole and hate yourself. There's room for improvement. There's rooms to fix yourself. You just got to take the right actions now. So look at the overall biggest picture on where was it you exactly that you took that pain and translated now into projection and putting it onto the people that are either you caring about, or people that you are just around you in general. Like, you're having a bad day at the office, now you're snapping off at everybody. Where is that coming from? Is that coming from a bad home life, or is that coming from a life when you were younger and you didn't get a full view of what it was like to help communicate in a healthy manner? I think that our generation has the best opportunity to learn these things earlier in our early 20s and mid 20s, even before our fucking 30s, and then use that lesson.
I mean, my theories were not learning anything.
I turned 30 this year, so I'll take the beginning of my 30s with this mentality and the way that I am approaching life now over my early 20s.
Yeah, man, your head's just caught.
Well, 10 times.
You've learned, you've adapted.
It's
a learning process.
And I committed to that change. Like, it wasn't just something where it was just like, I'm going to become this little brief stint of hope for this next generation of men. and then I'm gonna fall the fuck off. I'm gonna just, fall in line and become another fucking factory worker.
I would argue that you're an outlier. I think that most people aren't going to. I think unfortunately, a lot of people fall into like the way that they believe and do things.
Yeah.
I think that there are people that can change, to some extent, but I think it's rare. I really do.
It is rare. It definitely is rare when people commit to the change.
Yeah.
Because people can start making changes and then they'll do the change, like the New Year's resolution is a prime example, where it is,
Although I was
I'll
supposed
start
to
2, 3
do,
weeks.
I was supposed to do mobility work every single day, meditate.
Oh, let me figure that shit. Let me fuck you up now with that shit.
Bro, my shit is-
Mobility, come on now, guy. That's
Why?
you didn't take that mobility serious.
No, I'm
with
not.
everything else that you're doing in your life.
I'm not, man. I need to. I downloaded the app Flyability, and it's been good, man. When I do it regularly, I wanted to just like wake up at 5 a.m. every single day and just get going. My problem is, I just I don't know what my problem is. I did 5 a.m. workouts, 4:30, 5 a.m. workouts for over a year with OG, and I think I burnt my 5 a.m. clock out.
If I didn't get paid to be up at that time,
Yeah.
I would not be up at that time.
Well, by the time 11 hits, I'm like, God, this day is never fucking ending. It's like, oh well, I did it since 4:30. That's why.
At that point, exactly.
Yeah, I have to. So those glasses that I wear at night, those are important to me now.
Helps you wind down.
No, they actually do. Not bullshitting. It's fucking crazy. I get very relaxed. I actually resist that. I'm gonna make a follow-up video. I resist to put them on too early because I'll get too relaxed and I'll fall asleep.
Okay.
When you take them off, you realize how much ambient light there is around you that's keeping you up at night. It's fucking crazy.
So with those glasses, also just tell them a little bit more about what these glasses do. Like
So I got them as prescriptions so I can see, because I do wear glasses.
Okay.
I got them as prescriptions, and Roca makes phenomenal glasses, great frames, really great optical quality. I put in the video that I did like that they ask you for your pupillary distance, which basically is how far across your eyes are from one another.
Okay.
So this way they can position the actual prescription in that area.
Huh.
Yeah, as opposed to like a Warby Parker where I used to buy my glasses, or like
I thought that what you just got was like a one glasses fits all. So
No,
it's
it's
actually like catered to yourself.
yeah, it's catered to like where your eyes are going to be laying.
Oh, that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool how they do that. So basically, these are nighttime glasses with an amber tint to them. They take all blue and green lights that come and hit you from screens and everything else. They just get rid of that spectrum. So it's supposed to help you. So you can watch TV, you can play Xbox, you can do things. It's
So
just,
I've heard of the blue light glasses,
everything.
but I've never heard
So
of
blue
these.
light's different. Just blue light glasses just filter out blue, but they're mostly clear. They do have a tint of green and warmness to them. So when
Okay.
I wear my main glasses, they are blue light glasses. I have to take them off when I color grade just to make sure the colors are accurate.
Okay.
But these are just amber colored glasses, so they're amber. They're red almost.
And it's just basically just setting the mood for you.
It's setting the mood to just get into your circadian rhythm, to be able to wind down for the evening and to just block all that usually disrupts sleep, your natural melatonin production. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, now you got me really interested because they're I won't say most nights. I think there's been a couple of nights I would say within the last like 5 months or so where I was definitely restless. Right, I'd worked all day. I'd been up since 4:30 in the morning.
But when it comes time to wind down, you're up.
Yeah, yeah.
All
And
the time.
that's
What's your
the
caffeine
occasion.
intake like as well?
Well, that's the other
What was
thing
your
too.
sleep like the night before?
My
What was your
caffeine intake.
hydration like? What was your meals like? I mean, there's so many fucking factors, but I think if we can hammer and chisel away specific aspects of like these little things to just try to get to a better version of ourselves. I mean, like I said, I've been battling just going to sleep. I sleep a long time and I'll wake up so tired. So I'm obviously not resting.
Like a state of like REM and like
Yeah.
being able to really.
I didn't wear my watch last night. I'm trying to wear my
I was for a long time.
it
and then I
distracts me,
stopped.
bro. I feel
That-
weird wearing
yeah.
it at night. It bothers me.
It's like it'll come up twisted sometimes.
Yeah, so I get or pause or it's off.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll take it off in my sleep. It'd be like across the room. I'm like, how the hell is that? I like rip it off and toss it.
Fuck it.
I want to get the Garmin watch. The Garmin watch, the one I want though, it has firearm capabilities in it to tell you wind velocity and all these different things in
Oh,
there.
that's pretty fucking
But it's like
cool.
$1,600. So
Okay.
yeah, I gotta sell some shit before I just buy
Jesus
buy
Christ.
that in the world.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's cool.
yeah. How long is it gonna last me for $1,600? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, it better last me 60 fucking years.
Okay, hold
All right, so the way I usually wrap this thing up is I ask somebody set of questions, very basic questions, nothing hard for people to answer, but what are three pieces of advice that you can give to anybody? It doesn't have to be strictly podcast related, doesn't have to be, fitness related. Just three pieces of advice that you can give to anybody out there right now who may need to hear anything, literally anything.
We make the mistake of believing that everybody thinks the same way that we do. So number one, so understand that not everyone's going to think the way that we do. Number two, be realistic with yourself, your work to personal life balance, because burnout is real, and I don't want to hear about these Instagram gurus that go for 24 hours a day, made $1 million the night before, slept for 3 hours, and they're back at hustling the stock market. I just don't think that stuff like that is sustainable or real. I think a lot of that is inflated, and that has a sense of comparisons that people enjoy type of scenario. And you're looking at these people and you feel like you're either behind or not as successful as them. So I would say that, you just got to go at your own pace and just understand that life is going to come to you when it's time. So like the person that you're meant to be with, I'm hoping, I don't know, otherwise I'm going to be talking single forever. The business opportunities, the video that's supposed to go viral, the content that you're supposed to make, the people that you're supposed to surround yourself with. We cycle human beings in and out of our life. The friends that you had in high school, I'm sure, nothing like the amount of friends that you have now in terms of like quantity and quality.
Yeah, it's like especially quality.
Yeah, so I'm sure that it's nothing like it was in high school. I'm sure the quality of your people that you're surrounding yourself with are better now. If not, some self-reflection. I also think that everyone should just try to do things that are different. Just try to be different every single day in terms of like not following the crowd.
Right.
Do things that excite you, do things that seem fun, challenging. The time's going to go by either way. And I'm going to give you a fourth one because I just think about this a lot. Our parents, if you're lucky to still have them, our parents are going through life for the first time as well, to our knowledge. So, they're getting older. And unfortunately, this work culture that we are accepting into our life, it definitely creates a barrier when it comes to our families. So
that's an understatement.
So the problem is, we're so busy trying to get ahead in our work life that our parents are aging, and by the time we notice, they're a little grayer or they're moving a little slower. And as I get upset thinking about this, because my mom was a single mom since I was 2, and I was always friendly with my dad, but I stopped talking to my dad a little over a year ago. And my mom means the world to me, because without her, I wouldn't be able to like leave the dog for extended periods of time. She checks on him, she gives him his pills if I'm out of town, and he stays with her. So we're each other's support circle when it comes down to it. So a world without my mom is a very difficult thing to think about, because we do speak to each other multiple times a day, and we are there for each other when it comes to everything. So don't be so caught up in the fact that we're trying to grind and make $1 million that we forget our family is
one day that's very limited time.
Is hitting the end of an era. My grandmother's going to be 94 in April.
God bless.
Thank you, man. My grandfather died right before COVID started, so he died in 2019 in November, and he was already in a nursing home, and it was tough. It just sucked, but my grandma's gonna be 94, and she's still able to drive and do her thing. But
God bless.
You start thinking, how many years left do you have with grandma? Like, maybe 4, maybe 5 at the most.
It's a really it's a heavy thought to have. I don't want to say it's a fucked up thought, but it's a reality.
It's a realistic thought. It's a realistic thought.
But it's also a very heavy thought, because especially when you're very family oriented. Like I myself, I'm the same exactly with my mother. I'm blessed that both my parents are still together. They're together 45 years now. Perfect representation of what it meant to really get through the storm together, and to really, hold the family together when they were going through the hardest of times and battling alcohol addiction. And now they're actually this May 10 years sober.
Beautiful.
So it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thought. Yep, I absolutely could not be more proud of them. But that especially connection with my mom. Like I'm a hands down, I'm a mama's boy to the heart. And my mother has been there with me through the hardest of times, like especially last year. And in the course of just a couple of like, 2 months, I had, just after our podcast on your show, I got into another accident that I slipped. I was skidded on ice and I smashed right into the back of a parked truck, and I went right underneath it. And my insurance had kicked me off the collision without telling me because I failed to have done a pre-inspection 2 years ago. So I didn't notice a real difference in the pay that I was paying. This is a whole different story for that part. What did mom do? She did exactly what mom does. And mom, she got in contact with the right people. She put me in contact with someone who was really able to rebuild my car for the most part. We both paid them off and everything else. But having her there at the end of my next relationship also gave me the clarity of realizing it was really time to let that thing go, because me and my ex were constantly on and off 5 years of constant on and off relationship that would not help me at all.
It's not a Paris, that's a vampire.
Dude, it was like, God bless her also, and God bless her kid. It was, a situation that I wish could have been better, and I wish I could have also done better, and certainly as well as a man. But also, when I say that, it was something that really drained me when it was the final time that she said like she didn't know what she wanted anymore. And just like the emotional reaction I had, and then for my mother to actually say the right things in the right time, which was, get the fuck up. Like, you've sat here long enough now, let's get the fuck up and let's get moving. A couple months later, I go out on a date, and a friend comes along, and then now I've probably been in the healthiest start to a relationship that I've ever had, hands down.
Go ahead, the mic. Hey, shoulder class.
But also at the same time, the relationship I have with my mother, I can totally relate and understand, because she's somebody that is definitely hands down my rock, who is someone that, and I'm looking to, take everything that I've been doing here to the next level, so I can make sure that that woman can really enjoy her retirement and really get to enjoying the next phases of her life as well.
My mom can't retire. She can't. Life just hit her too hard in 08. She's a mortgage broker. Life just hit her too hard in 08. And it's just, she's just always been in a deficit since then. Not to hijack what you
No,
said,
but I'm not.
but when you said
saying,
retirement, so like that's why, my own personal content, my podcast, all this stuff, I'm hoping it pays dividends in the next 10 years, because I want to be able to retire her officially and let her just live wherever she wants to live and do whatever she wants to do.
We'll get that thing goal right there.
Yeah, man. She deserves man. My first heartbreak, mom was there, man. It was very different time frame, very different Nick at the beginning, and then to the other end of that. And it all happens for a reason. It all happens for the better.
Every heartbreak has definitely made me a stronger man in other ways, but also a better man in other ways as well. Not just a stronger man, but also just a better man, so I know exactly how to treat my next relationship or heartbreak. Like with a heavy.
That was the first relationship. That was a bad one. It was a bad one. Yeah. I was very upset for a while. It was very hard. That's when I got into bodybuilding. That's when it makes sense. The timeline makes sense. Yeah, that's when I got into bodybuilding. I was just like, I was crushing the weight.
The stereotypical.
Yeah, no, I really was. I dropped from 240 to 150 in a year. I competed. Yeah, dude.
And it was the same way that I fell in love with that gym also was after that heartbreak. After when life is constantly challenging you in other ways emotionally, the best way for you to handle it, and I'll say this is a biased term because it's also something that I went through as well, it's very similar with you. The gym is truly the best place that you can really go, because
it pays dividends.
And you can also hurt yourself and still grow. You can't, hurt yourself with a knife and then, anything good comes from that.
Yeah.
But you can lift some heavy ass weight and tear some fucking muscle fibers and get a little bit more of that endorphin run. That was the bathroom on the yeah, no, that fucks me every
because someone was coming in. I was like, come on in.
That fucks me all the time. All the time. But I say all that to say one more fucking question that we have here, and it's My ADD is not the best of me right now.
Maybe he gets the best of all of us.
I'm literally looking down, like I need to fix this. Fix a lot of shit. But, I like to also end it, and this on a usual positive note. What are three things that you are currently thankful for?
Thankful for. I'm thankful for my mom, thankful for Kenji being healthy. And, you know, that's been a big stressor of my life, since he was diagnosed with epilepsy when he was 2. So that he's healthy and doing well right now, that has been very, very stress relieving to an extent of like, we're on a good schedule right now. And he's staying healthy. And listen, I'm thankful for, give me 4 things. I've heard rules, 4. I'm thankful for my business. I'm thankful for things going well, my clients and stuff like that. And I'm thankful for the people that I have consistently around me, with jujitsu and you and Tom and the training and this and that. Constantly, everybody just doing their thing, motivating each other. You know, I see posts, days where I just don't feel like training. I'll see everybody just doing their thing. I'm like, oh, my fat ass to the gym. Let me go do something. And, you know, stuff like that around me is a constant reminder to just keep pushing because, you know, movement is medicine. And the more that we can move and continue staying in motion, the less we're, you know, rotting away as we age. So I think it's very important. You know, you see a lot of elderly people that they stop moving and they die quick, versus if they stay moving and they stay active and this and that, and they stay healthier generally.
Keep your body moving, keep your body young.
Yeah, so I want to just, especially in my 30s now, I'm early, almost mid-30s. I'll be 34 this year. So it's like, you start to think about all this stuff. I'm not old, but I'm not young anymore. So I have to be more cognizant of this and train accordingly. You know, mobility and all these different types of training styles. Yes, I have to. You'll check up on me in the morning. Hey, do your fucking mobility.
Listen, I'll be on your ass about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go, hey, no.
Like Tom will be in there in the other ears yelling at you to sleep heavier. I'm gonna be in.
I have enough tinnitus. My ears are ringing all the time. I can't have anybody else in there.
Well, lastly, self-promote as well. You know, where can they find your platform? Where can they find you? How can they get in contact with you? How can they hire you for future video content and all that extra jazz?
I appreciate you. Nikki Rizzles, Nikki_Rizzles on Instagram. My podcast is called Rizzology. I have amazing human beings like Tim that come through. We chop it up, we hang out. It's always good. Very similar to this format today. So if you like this and you like some of the stuff that I had to say, then you may like the podcast. And I'm definitely gonna have Tim back on at some point to just come and hang out, do similar here. Yeah, just do similar shit here that we did today. And then if you want to talk about any content for businesses, for personal, whatever, you could shoot me a DM on Nikki_Rizzles. I don't really use we go back to like personal branding versus the pages for the business. Everyone just winds up messaging me on there. So I'm all ears. If you have questions, concerns, stuff like that, just shoot me a message and we can get after it.
Awesome. Well, dude, brother, man, I appreciate you.
I appreciate you, man. You're the shit.
This was awesome. This was a great time. It's good to get back into the swing of things. You know, we had a little rust on the old mics.
It takes a little while, but you formed right back into it.
Yeah, the time flew by. What did we crush over here? Oh, yeah, about a little over 2 hours again.
Yeah,
That's right. That's a great time. It's always a great time.
I gotta get home to Kenji. That's my needy girlfriend. That's my needy girlfriend.
All right, brother. I appreciate you.
Dude, I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody listening.
Let's go.
Yes.
Come on. Fucking old ass man.
Gotta get you a fucking.
Between the cameras and the laptop are the next things.
Just a bathroom.
No, that's, I'll bring you over to the bathroom. It's on the other side.
In, right? Where
Yeah.
the work stuff is.
Yeah,
I think it's on.
I have a mouse that I just forgot to bring.